There's a lot of movies nowadays that try to tackle serious issues and get into it and make us reflect on ourselves and look at who we are as a society and who we are as a people. But few movies did it as well as 1957's 12 Angry Men. It's a movie about, it starts with the closing arguments of a trial. We don't even hear the closing arguments. It's just, the closing arguments have just ended. And then we follow 12 people into a jury room. And the whole movie pretty much takes place in that jury room. And it's 12 people debating on the innocence of this kid. The guilty or innocence of this kid. And 11 jurors right off the bat, guilty, let's get out of here, let's go home. And one person goes, I'm not even sure if I believe he's innocent, but I think maybe this kid deserves more than just us passing judgment. Like, let's sit down and talk about it and go over everything. And if at the end of this no one thinks he's innocent, then okay, I'll vote guilty. And it's slowly him convincing everyone that there's room to doubt. And over the course of the movie, we see that a lot of these people in this jury are coming in with prejudices, with biases, with their own issues affecting how they look at this kid and whether or not he's guilty or innocent. A lot of them were voting guilty, not based off of the kid, but based off of their own idea of justice. And it really shines a light on how flawed our system is. And how kind of unjust it is, you know? And how people can't get out of their own head, can't get out of their own way. As so often we're just willing to judge people based off of our preconceived notions without getting to know them or without taking the time to put ourselves in other people's shoes. Empathy nowadays seems like a dead concept. I can't imagine in the 50s it was this bad, but then again, you look at what was going on in the 50s and it was probably worse. So it was a very eye-opening movie, and it's definitely something you should check out. It's beautifully shot, it's beautifully acted, the writing is top-notch, and it's a character study. It really is just a deep look into 12 different people who are forced together to decide the fate of somebody and how they go about that. And their decision is going to directly impact someone else's lives. And how most of them aren't even willing to take that into consideration at first. They have to kind of, have their heads shoved into it to realize what I decide here isn't just some arbitrary decision. It has real world consequences. And I think far too often, especially nowadays, people don't think of how their actions have real world consequences. I mean, just look at how people act online. People just go and attack people and tear people down for shits and giggles, as if their words and actions don't have any repercussions on people, but it does. Everything you do, you don't live in an island, you don't live in a bubble, you live in the world where you interact with other people, and everything you do affects other people. And I think that is a concept and a notion that far too many people don't want to think about. Maybe they find it uncomfortable, maybe they don't want to look into the mirror about how their actions affect other people and what that means about them. But I think it's important. I think we should need to do it. And I think this is a movie that should be mandatory viewing for people, especially people who are about to go and serve in jury duty. You should see how you can't just listen to what everyone else there says. You have to think for yourself and decide for yourself what is right and wrong. And then you also have to take yourself out of your own shoes. You can't, I believe we're creatures of our experiences, but I also believe our experiences sometimes blind us to other people's experiences. And you have to be willing to listen to other people and what they have to say and what they have been through, what their experiences tell them. Maybe you don't know everything. Maybe you aren't the smartest or wisest person on the face of the planet. I know, shocker. That's really what this movie drives home, is that you have to listen to other people and you have to think things through. And just because someone can tell you something in a compelling way doesn't necessarily mean that they're right. Sometimes the most intelligent, charismatic people are wrong. I know, shocking. But you got to think for yourselves. You got to look at your experiences and your lived experiences and the people around you's lived experiences and decide for yourself what is real and what is wrong. What is right and what is evil. But I don't know. and not only is it have big moral issues that it deals with, it's also a great movie. It's fun. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. You might tear up a couple times while watching it. It's definitely worth a view. But I'm Jonathan. Give us legends.